Station. Oh, I started before my coach. Okay, so good evening. You're all welcome. You're all welcome to today's series. Yes, to today's Visionary Educator series. Our speaker for tonight, she's an accomplished educational management consultant who specializes in helping schools build profitable and sustainable business brands. With a strong focus on strategic operations, she currently serves as the head of strategy and operations at Growth Master Global Consult. In this role, she leads initiatives that include in-house consulting services for schools, professional development for teachers, leadership training, quality assurance, and accreditation support, particularly for schools pursuing Cambridge International Examination. Wow. So she has award in Education Champion Award by League of Muslim Schools Proprietors, Lagos State 2024, Award of Excellence by Rotaract Club, Federal School of Surveying, Oyo 2023, Outstanding Youth in Education by Ijebu North Youth Award 2022. Yeah, our key achievements: successfully led 4 schools through the Cambridge International Examination Accreditation process, developed and implemented strategic plans that significantly improved the profitability and sustainability of client schools. She conducted over 100 workshops and training sessions that have enhanced the leadership and management capabilities of schools executives. Her personal philosophy: she believes in the power of education to transform societies. Our mission is to equip educational institutions with the tools and strategies necessary to thrive in a rapidly changing world, ensuring that they do not only succeed academically, but also achieve long-term sustainability. Wow, that's so great. Yes, she attended University of Lagos, Taishilawi University of Education. In fact, she is really, I love, in fact, I've learned a lot, even from her profile. So thank you so much, Mrs. Zainab Mabini-Adesanya. We are so glad to have you here this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma. You are welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am. We are glad to have you here. So now we are starting. Yes, we are starting right away. Thank you so much, ma'am, for honoring our invitation. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Good evening, great educators.
Good evening, ma'am.
All right, should I start right away?
Yes, ma'am, please, you can start right away.
All right, beautiful. Good evening, everyone, once again. Thank you for the invitation, Growth Minded Educators Academy. Well done for all you're doing, and I pray God continue to strengthen you on this path. Yeah, my name is Zainab Mabini-Adesanya. Sometimes, people, we are here due to what I do. There are titles like coach, like Mrs., like that. But my name is Zainab Mabini-Adesanya, and it is indeed my pleasure to share my journey with you all this beautiful Sunday evening. All right, so while doing this, I want us to take note of the lessons, right? Because this is here we are here to learn, and I'm doing two things in one. What I mean by that is I'm sharing my story and alongside the lessons that are in between, right? So it's not just oratory or listening to stories. It says that we want to bring home the lessons. All right. So my journey, oh God, permits me to reframe it a bit. Like, let me just tweak the topic a bit to my journey from classroom to consulting, right? Because I started in the classroom, not as a literacy trainer. I started in the classroom and over the years grow into an educational management consultant right at the moment. Okay. So how I started, let's take it from the beginning. How I started, my parents owned a school. And I've shared this with a few people within my circle. It's not something out there fully. My parents owned the school. I attended the school for my nursery and primary education, and the foundation was very solid. The my experience of the classroom started the next day, the day that followed the day I left secondary school. That was my first time in the classroom. You know, we finished the WAEC, SSC, this and that. You know, I just wrote WAEC because I did GC earlier and I got my results. So I did, you know, after the exam, I was at home. The next morning, I woke up and my parents were like, "My friend, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Go to nursery class. Go and assist the teacher that is there." Eh? You know, that was how I rolled my eyes, like, really? Just like that? So I started as an assistant teacher, taking care of the little ones. I watched pools. I did all those caregiving at the early years. That was how I started. And from being an assistant at the classroom, I enrolled in National University of Education for English studies. And from there, what I did was that I registered as a part-time student. I didn't register as a full-time student in the university. Though I had my results early and everything, I registered as a part-time student because I didn't want to wait till the following year to write JAM and seek admission. So I was like, rather than wait till next year for JAM, let me just put in for the part-time. So I got the part-time form. And what that means again is that I had 5 days, Mondays to Friday, you know, available. The part-time class starts on Friday afternoon, ends on Saturday evening or sometimes Sunday evening, right? So I had the whole weekdays. And with that, my parents explored it to the fullest. We, you know, and from being an assistant and then, being in the school, I studied education, I studied English. So the learning started becoming active. And from there, by the time I was in 300 level, I was getting it right. I was already getting it right. And I became a class teacher at that time. From being a class teacher at that time, um, and then gradually I moved from my dad's school to a new school in Ijebu-Ode because my place was Ijebu. So I moved to Ijebu-Ode, and Ijebu-Ode I taught at a nursery and primary school in my 400 level, and then at the 500 level because I was getting sucked in the nursery class, like the kids, they loved me, the parents loved me, and I was like, I'm not ready to pursue early childhood education. I need to change this thing before these people turn me to an early years educator. So I rather pitched my tent with secondary school and said, well, I wanted something that aligned more with what I wanted to do. So I went in for secondary teaching at another school in my 500 level. And it was what that experience, that journey, that experience was one thing that I was thankful for because it shaped my perspective a whole lot. And what I mean by that is that, I started from scratch. I started from the lowest. I hope you can understand. I started from the lowest. I started from the beginning. I started from the littlest beginning, cleaning poops, taking care of kids. I started from there. But I knew one thing was that I knew what I wanted right from the word go. I knew who I wanted to be, right? I had the vision of who I wanted to be. I knew who I really wanted to turn out to be. So I knew that all that I went through at that time, assisting in the classroom, going to school, coming back, I knew that it was preparing me for the journey ahead. And this is why, even now, there is hardly anything that someone is doing in this space that I haven't had an experience doing at one time or the other. So if someone wants to say, oh, this is challenging or this is dirty, I'd rather look at the positive side of it. So while I was doing all of that, I was focused on the positives, not on the negatives. For instance, by the time I was at the 400 level, working at a school for the nursery and primary education, there was a particular comment from the proprietress that got me. She said, Zainab, every parent who came in today, every class, there was at least one or two complaints from parents in every class. But for your class, we had zero complaint. Zainab, what are you doing right? But whatever you're doing, I encourage you to keep it up. And there I was talking about a Montessori school, an international school. And, look at my background, where I was coming from. I got in there, I learned quickly, and I learned quickly, and I adapted and became, one of the best. And the school had zero worries about my classroom because of the way I handled things. Like let me break it down. For instance, in the school had a target that for every child to cross from nursery to primary, the child must be able to read. It has been their philosophy, but they weren't able to achieve it fully before I joined them. So when I joined the nursery to class, because the proprietors look at, oh, you're studying English, all right, I think this would be the best class for you. When I did, when I, okay, when I joined the classroom, I redeveloped the curriculum. Like the school had a curriculum, they had a scheme. I came up with what would work best for the objective that was actually set for me. The objective for me was that every child in that class must read before they go into primary one. What I did was every morning, Monday through Friday, I spend 1 hour every day before the regular timetable. I spend 1 hour every day teaching reading through phonics. And I made sure that I went beyond the abukudo to z. I explored all phonics rules as much as possible, such that by the time the children were in the third term, they could read their exam questions and answer them independently without the assistance of any teacher. They could read newspapers, my dear teachers. They could, because during that 1 hour, um, the framework was that I did it myself. Nobody taught me, nobody sat me down to say, Zainab, this is what you should do, right? I just had the objective of what I needed to do. And then I had resources. There were some books that the school was using and all of that. But I sat down again and looked at it like, this thing that is before me, how do I achieve it? And I went beyond what the school wanted me to do in terms of preparing the kids, in terms of teaching, and in terms of resources. When all teachers have gone, I would sit back in the school. The school had a store. In that store, we used to have what's it called? Keyboards, cardboards, and lots of resources that we used in the previous term or the previous session. I would go into that store, bring out some materials there, and adapt them. Like the keyboard, I'll turn the back of that keyboard and write the words, write sentences, using the words we learned during the week, using the phonics rules we learned during the week. I'll write things out. I can sometimes put some games, like the time that I taught them WH, that WH sound well. So in what? We. So at that time, I'll tell them the exemptions, like who, WHO doesn't sound who, that it is an exception to the rule. So it sound who, that the W is silent. So I'll teach them like that. And with that WH, I did a game, that the kids took home, and they were playing the game, reading and learning alongside. So I did that. The school did not say, Zainab, do this. I did it myself. And each time the proprietress looked at me, she had this peace of mind. She was happy and satisfied that she would most times give me, Zainab, you did well today. 1,000 naira, 500 naira, extra, like just take it as a transport fare. Right. From there, what that did for me was that, but I love the fact that the school allowed me to express my geniusity. They didn't put me in a box like, this is what you must do, right? They gave me the objective, they gave me the materials, they gave me the scheme of work and all of that. And I adapted it, made sure that what I did was far beyond what was there. And the school had to start telling other teachers to come and see what I was doing, how I was doing it, and take some clues and adapt and put it into their own class and do things, to help the school. So by the time it was taught them, 70% of the pupils, they could read fluently, right? I think we had three that they could read, but not perfectly. And then we had a child that was a special needs child. So that was the result I got from that experience. And I had another batch of students, and I replicated the same model, but I didn't finish up with them because it's people were like, my name was just flying all around the space. Oh, Auntie Zainab, so school. She's doing this, she's doing that. I was like, I don't want him to be an early childhood educator. This people wants to turn me to one. Let me run away. So I had to send in my letter and resign, and then went into the secondary school, teach them English. And there again, I'm always like an Oliver Twist. Once if I'm not satisfied with something, I won't be grumbling. I'd rather do something about it, right? I believe that every little effort can create the change that we desire, right? I don't believe that, I don't complain. I'm someone who doesn't, I don't grumble, I don't complain, I don't look at things that are not working. I look at what can I do in my own little capacity that can change this narrative. So when I even got to the the secondary school, I made sure that we did a lot of writing. As much as essay writing is actually tedious. If anyone here is an English language teacher, you'll understand. Marking English language is very tedious. I mean, English essays, because you have to circle the errors and all of that, and the number of students I would submit. But then I didn't let that deter me. I made sure that I supported their education so well that most of them now, they are graduates, and some of them, they are my friends on Facebook, and some of them we still buzzing and say, oh, you really helped my life, you really changed my perspective about life. And then I did something like, I taught life, not the subjects. So when I walk into a classroom, I made sure that even either during my introduction or during the session, or during the what's it called? By the time I'll be wrapping up, I'll make sure that I share with them some helpful tips on how they can succeed as students, on how they can avoid some distractions and all of that. So that was it in the classroom. And when I completed my bachelor's degree, I was like, Zainab, you know what I wanted to do? I said I must I must have my master's degree immediately, right? Did I share my age with you? I started, the little beginning was I was 16 years. By the time I was through with my bachelor's degree, I was 21 years of age. There was the degree ended in 20 December 20, was that 2014 or something? And then um I waited from January to August to process my master's degree, because Unilag's postgraduate form is always around July, August. So I got my transcript, my things from what's it called, from Taisha Larry, enrolled for master's degree in University of Lagos. So all that's why I moved into Lagos. Immediately I was through with my bachelor's degree, I moved into Lagos. I was hoping for jobs. I was looking out for some customer service work because I knew that I was very good with communications and all of that. So, but that time I didn't want to go to the classroom again. Like, I vowed within myself that no, nothing is going to take me back to the classroom, because I knew that I love communicating with people. I love making things happen. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the guide. I didn't have the mentorship on, like, who guide me on this is what you should do next. So while I was still looking around, my master's admission, I gained the master's admission and I had to start. And that was a full-time master's program. It was full-time master's program. So all through January 2016 till December 2016, I was with Unilag. I was in Unilag for the master's degree program. And by the time I was done in 2016, and by early 2017, we had wrapped up the entire program. We've done our defense and all of that. And we were just few months away from convocation. Convocation later in the year. So that the time I finished my master's, I was 23 years of age. That's a summary there. I was 23 years of age. Now, there is something I want us to note from that. I didn't graduate, I didn't go to school early, graduate early, get good grades early, and all of that because I had lots of resources. No, it was far from that. I didn't have, like, I came from a very average family. My family valued education, so, but it wasn't that we had that lots of resources flying around. And then my parents had a lot of kids. We are seven. I was a third. So what that means was that while I was in school, I had siblings that were in school as well, right? In fact, that was my motivation for leaving Ijebu Ido to Ijebu Day during my 400 level, because I was like, my parents, they were paying fees of three of us in school, and I needed to relieve them. They didn't want me to work elsewhere. They didn't want me to go out there and start working and all of that. But I had to find a means, convince them and start a new life. So again, I became independent early, and that again has its import into what I'm doing today. Like, I'm someone who doesn't depend on people, right? Because if I didn't depend on my parents, how will I now depend on anyone else to, like, bear my bills 100%, right? My parents wanted to bear the responsibility. I found my way out of it. So I wouldn't even wait for anyone to say, okay, be 100% of my responsibility. I take my whole life, my growth, my desire, my ambitions, I take them personal. So I really take them as my responsibility, not anyone else's responsibility. So from the time I did that, and while I was in the master's degree program, I had another perspective. That was where the literacy training came up. Like, I knew what I did in those schools. I knew the results. I knew the results that it brought into what they were doing and the students' lifestyle. And I thought about how about adapting this and making sure that it reached more students across the nation beyond the schools that I've taught or beyond being a regular classroom teacher. So immediately I dropped the pen from my master's degree program. I sat down. I mean, well, I really thank God. There was a time I shared my story on Facebook, I think maybe just last month or thereabouts. I said three values for me, three things helped me. I must be grateful to God because I had some natural instincts, right? There are a lot of things that nobody taught me. I just started them and developed them, and over the years they become something. And that literacy training was part of it. I didn't know anyone doing anything anywhere. That was in 2020. Was that 2017? Yes. I didn't know anyone who was doing anything anywhere. I just felt that our curriculum had a lot of inadequacies. And children going through that curriculum cannot thrive as much as they should. So I sat down, I started reading online, I started exploring the British curriculum. I started exploring, apart from the existing curriculum across the world, how can we make sure that language is more about usage than definitions? Because no one will ask you on the road that, Zainab, what is now? What is verb? What is pronoun? Everyone will care about is your communication skill. How well can you speak? How well can you write? And if you cannot listen well, you cannot speak well. If you don't read well, you cannot write well. So all of this, formed what I wanted to do. And then I sat down, I created an outline for what I think secondary students should learn in language. I created that outline. I developed the content. I developed the content and then I prepared a proposal to schools. I prepared the proposal. And when I did that proposal, because I was always ambitious. I got Concord paper, printed out proposal in colored print and all of that. Okay, even while I was doing that, there was a school I was doing a part-time English teaching job with. Um, in Lagos here. So I think that time I used to go there like 2 days in a week. So I put the pictures of some student that I taught during a tutorial or something in the proposal. And then I went to 5 schools. I went to 5 schools and that proposal worked. Like I think I went to 5 schools, I think. So one of them said, "Oh, really wanted this. This is, in fact, this is different from the regular thing we've been doing, and we hope that this will bring desired results in our students' performance and this and that." And then I the proposal included the service fee and everything. And the school owner, may God continue to rest her soul, she was so human too. She was so human because I was young. I was young. And I had the fear. I had the fear when I started that people would criticize me because I was young, right? I had the fear that people would look at me like, how old is this one now? That she's saying what we are doing is not good enough, that we can do it in a different way. So because of that fear, I didn't let the fear hold me down. What I did with that fear was that I let the fear prepare me better. Like I made sure that I didn't leave any loopholes. I made sure I was very professional in what I do. I made sure I document things as much as possible, brand my items, I branded a lecture note. I did the proposal very colorful, very beautiful, and I was well dressed. I went to the school, I spoke and related with them well. I didn't walk into the school graduate like, oh, everybody, you're doing rubbish. So just listen to me. I'm here to teach you the new thing. I built relationship with the English language teacher over there. And the proprietors that I mentioned, because the payment for that contract, it was in 3 phases. She was supposed to pay like 40% initial deposit, then 30% later, and then another 30% towards the end of the term. She called me, she said, no, please, oh, I need to pay everything as early as possible because, this is a school. By the time we are almost at the end of the term, we won't have enough funds to run things, and I won't want to owe you. Imagine. And then she paid promptly. But then I had the biggest challenge, I ever had during that time. Like after the contract had already started and it was halfway, I was diagnosed, I was preparing to get married then, and then we did some tests and all of that. And then the test revealed something not so pleasant, and it broke me down because that was the first time I would hear about something like that. I didn't even know anything of such exist. And I was so scared about my life, like, oh my God, what's going on? How did I get this? What happened to me? I cried bitterly, like the most bitter tears I've ever shed was during that time. Because beyond the diagnosis, where I was living then, because I was living with a very I was living with my mom's sister, but that my mom's sister doesn't live here in Nigeria. She works in the UK. She works in the UK. She has retired now. But she had siblings, we had some family members around. So who they knew I was crying bitterly in the room. They knew I was rolling on the floor. I was asking God why this happened to me. They didn't walk up to me to ask me, Zainab, what happened to you? Right? They picked up the phone, called my aunt, and told her that this girl is sad, but they didn't know what. She said, okay, they should ask me. And then one of them sat me down and asked me what happened. I told her. She said, wow, did your person to be, did you know about it? I said, we went there together now. You knew everything about it. I said, won't see. I said, he won't leave me. Don't worry. Next thing, my aunt called. I said, because the doctors were already assuring me that no, I shouldn't be scared, that I know that I'll still go through some diagnosis to really find out some things and then know what treatment and all of that. So while the doctors were encouraging me, the hospitals, they were encouraging me and all of that, the home front became a battlefront. Like I was told to leave the home just within 24 hours notice. Remember, I have a contract that I'm handling with someone. I had received the 100% payment. Like if the proprietors had not paid me 100% of that money, I could have just told them that I won't be available to continue with this anymore. And then I just quickly called my partner because I made sure, again, remember I said I was young. I got someone who was far older than me. She was a very brilliant person. We met during my bachelor's degree program. So I brought her in, I paid her from the service fee. I brought her in. So when that challenge came up, I said, you know what, whatever that happens, I'm going to finish this contract with this person. The terms of agreements must be terms of agreements. So I moved into our own place for a few days. I think it's the I was told to leave. I was called on Sunday that I should leave on Monday. On that Monday, I had an appointment at national what's it called, NIMR. And there I was crying. Elderly people around there, they asked me what happened. I told them. They said, no, that I shouldn't be so worried since my spouse to be is not feeling concerned about it. And I was very healthy, nothing wrong. What kind of situation is this? What made me cry that day was like, I looked at the amount that I paid for the tests. And I said, this money alone is enough to do something for somebody's life. Oh, hey, how will I be running a test because you want to find out something about me? And I'll be paying this amount of money. So let me just cut that short, was that I made sure I finished up our work. And I thank God that my spouse to be doing, he wasn't even bothered a little about it. He just said, okay, so if you're told to leave the house, what's the next thing to do? He got a 2-bedroom apartment for me and I moved in. He said, okay, since we're preparing to get married and all of that, so just get a place that anytime we are now settling down, it will be the place we come to. And that very week, we got the place we are living, and that was it. So what I wanted to bring out there was that I made sure that even all of that drama didn't affect my work. I made sure I did it the perfect way. The only challenge I had was that the school they loved the results of what I did. In fact, we did some counseling sessions. I brought in a counseling psychologist by the end of the program. The students, I still have pictures of it. Sometimes when I look at it, I just smile, and they were so happy. So the English teacher over there as well, I built relationship with him and all of that. They wanted me to come the following term to continue with that contract, but I was broken. I was broken to pieces. So immediately I just finished up with them. I just took some time to heal, and before I knew it, I was already preparing for marriage. I did that, but while I was doing all of that, every day I was learning, every day I was sharing. Learning and sharing is one of my key values. I learn, I read, I join purposeful groups. I mingle with people who are purposeful. I don't go around looking for the next gist. I don't look around. I don't sit back complaining. Even this high BB books that is out there, we have a lot of criticism around it. I looked at the event, I looked at the book launch, I haven't read the book, so I just got the soft copy today. I looked at in the middle of all this, like in between all of this, where are the lessons? Where are the lessons, right? And then there is something that struck me, right? That the world rewards the most audacious, the most strategic and the most audacious. Let me pray that way. The most strategic and the most audacious people, not the most brilliant, not the ones with the best ideas, not the ones with the best character. It's that bad sometimes, but it is what it is, right? Not the ones who's the most kind. We will be kind, we'll be brilliant, we'll be positive, but we must be audacious, we must be strategic into achieving what we wanted to achieve. And from all of those journeys back and forth, like I kept on growing. I loved what I was doing. I loved the pace at which I was moving. And but I knew I wanted to do something. Something was burning in my heart. I didn't have the right words to put it. I didn't I didn't know how to craft it, right? I registered a literacy consulting firm. I was doing literacy training. I was doing all of that, literacy workshop. Even till date, people still know me as literacy trainer and all of that. But I knew I wanted to do something. That there is something about schools that schools are not getting right, right? That there is this huge gap between education and business, which shouldn't exist. A school is an education center as much as it is a business center. What that means is that if it is to last a lifetime, if it is to last long and thrive, and people in there smiling and happy, there has to be the business knowledge and the strategy and support that it needs to really thrive for a long time. So, and after some deep thoughts and study sessions, I came up with Growth Master Global Consult, and it is what it is today. But let me also share with you that one thing, I don't know the educators that we have here. I don't know the level of teachers we have, maybe either, but I'll take it since I've experienced different phases so that I can wrap up in a moment. If as a teacher, you are the early years, believe me, there are lots of opportunities for you at the early years to thrive. Okay. Look beyond your earnings. Like when I started this journey, how much was I earning? The one from my dad's school, that one was even maybe 4,000 naira. The one at Ijebu that I said, okay, Montessori school, this and that, it was 13,000 naira. I remember that vividly. The next one, I didn't remember exactly how much, but I remember the one for that Montessori was 13,000 naira. And even after I had my master's degree, I still earned, uh, a peanut from where I was teaching as a part-time English teacher, right? But I was in all of those peanuts job, right? I was committed. uh, I was doing my best. In fact, the last one I did, that where I did the part-time um job, was part of how I became a consultant for schools, because I was someone who always don't rest. Ma, we need to do this. Ma, we need to do this. Ma, I thought about this and I looked at what the results we may likely get from this. Let's do it this way. I do recommendations. I do suggestions. I don't impose my thoughts on the proprietaries, and they loved it. So when I started this new phase, they were part of the people promoting. Hey, Zainab is very good. Oh, in fact, just sit with her. You will see what I'm talking about. They were part of my referrals till date. Every day we keep good relationship, and she every day, even right now, there is nothing that I need from her that is within her capacity that she won't release from me, within the split of seconds, because I make sure that we build relationships. So as we are growing in this journey, build every relationship with people. Don't grumble. Know that everyone is doing their best. There are school owners have their challenges. In fact, if they share some of their challenges with you, you would cry like, who sent you to do this thing that you're doing? Like, why are you doing this? So that's terrible sometimes. So, but I had to come up with a system that can support them to thrive and not just struggle through. And that is what I am currently doing as an educational management consultant. Let me also share with you that I sell books. Yes, I sell books. And the books I sell, should I tell you? I didn't start selling books like, okay, I didn't go to buy books in bulk to sell. I started with drop shipping. Are you with me? I started with drop shipping, and last year alone, when I looked at the records of what I earned last year through books, it was 44 million naira, right? And I started the first day I bought books. I bought with just 10,000. I bought books of 10,000 naira only. And I snapped pictures of the books I bought. I bought them for my kids, and I snapped the pictures. And immediately I snapped the pictures, I was like, I posted online, on my status. And before then, because I have been active in some educational groups, I shared with some, oh, we want this, oh, we love this, oh, we want this. People wanted storybooks because these are books that they hardly come by. But I didn't have money to start it. But the warehouse was actually close to me. So I just went there. I said, you know what? Hello, people, you do something for me. I have a lot of school owners who are interested in your product. You allow me sort the books into cartons. Then you give me the cost. I share with them. Once they make payment, you receive your money. Then I take it away from you. And then I carry it. So I would go there, start sorting books. The ones, okay, I'll sort a particular carton for early years only. I'll sort another carton for early years and primary. I'll sort books, record videos of those books, post online. And once I post a video, like 4 schools may come asking for it. So the first person who asked, I'll tell the person to make payment. The 3 other persons, I'll tell them to wait. That what is their budget, that I'll sort for them as well. So let's say if I sort books and the books, they tell me this book is 15,000 naira, I would sell at 25,000 naira because it was that beautiful and, well, of high quality. I would sell at 25,000 naira. Then I had my 10,000 naira, and then over time, in fact, they were surprised because even the ones that they owned the place, they were not selling as fast as I was selling. And I've sold books, I've sold books even up to Ghana. I've sent books to Ghana, I've sent books to Benin Republic, I've sent books to almost every part of Nigeria as I speak, right? And from there, I began selling, what's it called? New books as well, new international books. I got the contact of the major importer in Lagos. I went there. I told him I'm from this person. He allowed me record pictures of books. I recorded pictures and videos of books. I posted online, added my price. Most schools send me their list. I give them the price. They make payments. I send to that person. They pass and send to them. I don't even have to leave wherever I was. I just need to monitor the transaction. And gradually, I grew into Now, me being able to buy books in very, very large bulk, like I can sometimes spend up to 4 million naira stocking up books, right? So and it started with just 10,000 naira, right? And with the money from the books, with the gains from the books, I was building my educational consulting firm, because the educational consulting is a service-based business, and I needed to get some things done to really position it well, to attract the people that I wanted it to attract. So why am I sharing this is that while you are doing what you are doing, but I didn't, and let me also share with you that till this moment, I've never run an ad online, especially like I'm considering it, but each time I consider it, I'm not even so freaked to do, because I have the ready market. Like once I post, they buy. Once I post online, they buy. Right. So except I have large or stock, and I think maybe the fastest way to get it out is to um get run an ad and get more people to buy, right? So with this, what I'm trying to share with you is that rather than complaining about what is not working, why not look at some opportunities? Can you start drop shipping items that are relevant to the education industry? Because don't forget that I made sure that what I was doing, everything I was doing all through, they were in sync with each other. I am selling books to school owners, and I have a service that I want to provide to them. So once they know I sell books to them, it went well, and they know that I have another service, they'll be interested, right? So it's not like I went around selling shoes and bags. I'm not saying you shouldn't sell shoes and bags, but for me, what I did, I focused more on services that were in the education industry. I did tutorials, I did book selling, I did so everything I did, they were still within the education industry, and I was actually
Okay, it seems so. Our speaker has a network issue. She will join as soon as she can. Just please hold on. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And then I think she's rounding up already. So if you have any questions, please start getting your question ready.
okay.
Okay,
I'm
welcome back,
sorry.
ma.
I went off. Was that my internet? Yes, okay, sorry. Let me just quickly wrap up. So let me leave you with this. Let me leave you with this. Number one, with these lessons. Number one, make sure that you have positive mindset, because your mind, your reality, you attract what your mind think about. So you need to think positively about this profession to get the best out of it. So think positively that within this profession, you become a millionaire, you become a billionaire, and your mindset will be open to opportunities that will help you become one, right? Then number two is be committed to professional development. Make sure you take learning, continuous learning very seriously, right? Make sure you do that at every opportunity. Try to learn. Make sure you're in the garden of people who are like-minded, who are also growth-minded. Make sure you are always doing that, and develop your expertise and credibility. Uh, yeah, now your CVs, right? Social media handles are now beyond they are beyond plays. They are your CVs. So whatever you aspire to be, to become, is what you should be journeying on your social media handles, your Twitter, your Facebook, your WhatsApp. Make sure you're sharing ideas, concepts, lessons, what you did, what worked well, what did not work well, and all of that. Also, okay, am I on? Am I on? I think I'm on.
Yes, I can hear you. I
Okay.
can hear
Yes,
you,
you're
ma.
on, ma.
Also, make sure that you go far and beyond. Make sure you are a professional in what you do, right? Make sure you respect the ethics of the profession. Make sure you do that. And also try to go beyond, go the extra mile. Don't just stay stuck in, is this not what they told me to do? And I'll just do it the way they told me to do it and leave it. That's where you won't make a difference. That's where your name won't go out there as someone who's excelling, who's doing it the best way. So make sure that you are committed to going the extra mile. Network with people, collaborate. I'm sorry, I omitted in my journey that what's it called, I have a network of powerful people who we grew together, who, because I was learning, I was sharing, I was helpful. Okay. They have also helped me in my own career. The likes of Coach Yemi, Coach Adebisi Adeyemi, Coach Yusuf Owolabi, me, Coach Yusuf, and Coach Yemi, we are like three musketeers. We've been like this for um 2017. Yes, and we are friends, we are professionals all together till date, like almost every day we interact, right? So this is how well we have built our relationship. This is how well we have nurtured our relationship over the years. So make sure you find like-minded people and nurture healthy relationship with them. Network and collaborate. And also, while you are doing all of this, I said you should be committed to personal development. Also make sure that you keep sharing your lessons, and for whatever gaps you identify in the industry, don't just complain about them. Do something. You can make a difference wherever you are, whoever you are. I believe in your power to make things happen. I believe in your power to change the dynamics. Right now, as I speak with you, I am probably the youngest equine minded consultant in Nigeria, because this year, maybe I think I'm 31. I'm someone who is not mindful of my age, right? I just do things. I don't let my age limit me. And the truth is, all my clients, none of my clients is my age mates. All of them are either 20 years older than me, 30 years older than me, and they respect me so much. Not because I force them to do, but because of what I do and how helpful I am to what they are doing. And then that's them say ma and turn my now. So it's like that. So don't think, whatever your fears or your concerns are, make sure you use it to the positive side, that it encourages you to do it well and do it the best. Well, I try to cover as much as possible, but I know I miss some parts. If you have questions for me, I am open to take your questions. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. I'm sure we've learned a lot from what she has said. So please, if you have any question, please, is there anyone? We are waiting.
Please feel free to share with me your current challenge. Like, does it seem insurmountable? Like, feel free to share. We are here to learn and share together. And probably you may even have something for me, right? I want to learn from you as well. I'm not Radio Astromagnesi. Please make sure you talk. Everyone, you either use the chat section or unmute your audios. Let's hear from you. What do you think about this? And do you have any challenge, or what is your success story as well that you also want to quickly share with us?
Raising hand. Please unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Wow. Hey, good evening, ma. Wow, this is so inspiring actually. First I want to start by thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you so much for sharing from your word of experience. This for me, the story you shared today, sharing your story today, or listening to your story, reinforce the goal of this particular session, and it is simply that as teachers we don't share our story enough, and because we don't share our story enough, there are a lot of teachers who are going through similar experiences, or who might even have gone through similar experiences. They don't really have things to model their life with. Excuse me, they don't have things to like relate their life with. Very sure now from what you have shared today now, a lot of people who will gain clarity, or those that are going to watch your video will gain clarity and feel like, hey, this is happening to me right now. This is how this person navigated something like this. So I can also learn from their own experience. And then for me, what actually stood out for me the most is the fact that for me, in fact, the day I saw this, I was like, wow. It's just that, in fact, I just like intentionally have to like step away from that, even though I'm glad that you actually mentioned it. It's like when I saw that you have your master's at the age of 23. I was like, wow, like who, you know, thing is that this is not really common, especially in the education industry. This is in fact, how many teachers have their masters? That's just have been they are even teachers have been teaching for over 10 years that the only thing they have is NC. They don't even go out, they don't even like they think of going to have their BSc. Those that have their BSc already feel like that's the end. And then you finish. And then I was even surprised that it was even part time. Like because I found out later that okay finish from tertiary university education like my school and then later on I saw because when we start curating the list of speakers, one of the things I do personally is that I will go to Facebook profiles and then we go down. I will search, I will read between the line, I will go to LinkedIn, I want to see the profile, I want to see what these people what these speakers that these teachers are saying about themselves, the that are sharing they are what sharing about things I've said about themselves. I was like 23, master 23, don't have a part time, do part time, and then still started masters immediately. But that's actually very, very inspiring for me. I was like, okay, yes, we're going to ask that. So for me is that uh like what one thing actually pushed you or what is the drive that made you want to have your master's immediately? So, for example, now as you've shared, you started teaching immediately you finished your work, and then you applied for most students, even for most students at that age, at that 16 of age. What we are looking for is once going to university. We have big all these big universities in the mind that we want to go for, and then you are clear from the beginning that you want to be a teacher, and then that's one thing. Another thing is that instead of waiting for a year to start processing jam and then go into the school and spend 4 years, you are already into the system. You already feel like okay, let me just start a part time. So for me, what I believe is that there's some level of exposure that must have been there for in fact you have a lot of 16-year-old, and to say that that's around that particular time, there's not even much of internet. Internet is there, but then it's not something that is as common as it now, where we have 16-year-old students, 16-year-old children, boys and girls, who don't even know what they're going to do with their life. And as at 16, you're already thinking of, yes, I want to go to school, I want to go and do part time. It's very rare. In fact, most of the time, the people you find doing part time are people that are old already. Maybe they have an NCE, they are teaching, they are working, they can't afford to come and like stay be a full time student. So I just want to know, and then finishing that, you opting for masters immediately to Unilag, which means you also have to leave the environment you're currently in. So I know there's a lot of uh, drive, there's a lot of things that are probably driving you, a lot of exposure to a lot of things. So I really want you to speak to that. Then number two is that from your journey, are there anything like if you look back to, are there anything you have done differently from going to school and then starting your educational consultancy, the literacy, all the schools you have taught, everything you have been able to go through, overcome, and things you have started doing? So, is there anything that you feel like, okay, if I'm starting again, I'm actually going to do this better? So, I hope my question, my story is too much, but I don't know if you get the question, ma.
I understand the questions perfectly. Okay, hello.
I can hear you, ma. I'm done, ma.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for the questions. I and thank you that you were able to read in between the lines, right? Now, for the first question, like how did I have that information? Because information is powerful. If you have the right information, you'll be able to make the right decisions, right? So, truth is, I owe a whole lot to my dad. I owe who I am today to my dad. Not that he gave me all the money that I needed, but when it comes to education, he did the best. So my dad is someone he's an educator. He was a proprietor at that time, a human rights activist, an elder statesman, and all of that. So he had information about every new university that they want to set up, because it's either he's involved in one committee that is doing something somewhere, or he's in that another committee. That there is none of all of us that we went to school, every university, every tertiary institution we went to. My dad had friends. My dad had friends as maybe the vice chancellor, maybe the dean of this. So, but though we didn't get our seek admissions through, like, we didn't do friendships to seek admission. We merited it. So, but he had his circle was filled with professionals, right? His circle was filled with professionals, and he had access to information. Like when National Open University just started in Nigeria, he knew about it. When MENTI started a degree program in Nigeria, he knew about it. Like even what young ones like me won't know, he knew about it. If there is any university that is going to have set up in Ogun State today, he will know about it. During the planning, he will have been involved or something somewhere. So he had that information. He knew about Taishola, and he knew it like back and forth, like from the front to the back, because he had friends that was even the dean of the faculty of this Kohim College of Humanities was his friend then, right? He's late now. That was Professor Alani Seriki, may Allah rest his soul. So he had a lot of them. So because of that, I mean, like, and that speaks to us as parents right now, like wherever we know is like the foundation for our own children to thrive. So as much as possible, we should know, we should have the good network, we should have the good, the resources that would set the right foundation for our children to thrive. So my dad, that I hope that's my dad. My dad, in fact, it was the one when it was like, your this is out, and it was fine. But you didn't get jamb form earlier. So I was like, who cares? This time around, that you is in jargon. What is it about it?
Okay. She's having. You think she's having network problem? So just hold
Ella,
on.
Ella, I'm
I can take.
sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're welcome, ma.
My device logged off the internet. Sorry. Okay, so quickly, let me to wrap up with that was that I information is powerful, and we should, as much as possible, have accurate information about everything happening in our environment, so we are able to leverage on the opportunities when they come in, right? Then secondly, you asked about what was it called? Like, was there anything I could have done differently? Um, I won't say that I didn't have regrets during my journey, because I had this clarity of what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. So while I was coming up, I was conscious of where I was going. So as much as possible, I avoided mistakes. But then maybe let me say at the early stage, like the time that I left the nursery and primary school in Ijebu, when in a work environment, the ethics is that you resign, you give a month's notice for resignation. So I did that a month's notice. But my proprietress, the proprietress, she didn't receive it well. She felt bad. She was down. And the month notice came in after it was, we were wrapping up first term. So it was like, okay, whatever thing we need to do ahead of second term, I am available. Let's get it done. And while you recruit another person to take over this class. But she didn't have it easy. She didn't have it easy. She cried, like our family, our spouse, parents started calling me, children were crying, like I don't children were crying. The parents had to put them on the call to speak with me. Some of them said they were no longer going to school, that the new teacher they had was too fat for them, that she would just sit and be shouting, hey, you don't go there, hey, you don't do this, all of that. Kids, they were just 5 year olds, and they were saying that about the teacher. So I had to start talking to them on why they needed to go back to school, that being in school wasn't about me. I had to what was it called I had to go to visit some of them that were not living far from me and talk to them one to one on why they needed to go back to school and love the new teacher, regardless of how fat or whatever difference she had with me. So that experience, because it didn't end well, despite that I prepared for it to end well, right? Because I didn't want I didn't love how they became heartbroken in the process. So when I got the new place, I made sure I gave them 3 months notice. Though the agreement was a month notice, I made sure that because I knew I was going for my master's degree once I was through my bachelor's degree program, I told the principal that by the time my program ends, so this is just by the time my program ends, I'll be leaving this environment to Lagos. So I told him verbally, and I think I told him again as reminders. But I was doing my job well, I was doing everything. And then he called my friend one day. I said, are you sure this your friend is actually leaving this school? Or is it that she wants us to increase her salary? And that one laughed, like, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. This person that is just doing her own thing. And I laughed about it. Because I was just waiting for a month to click for me to submit the letter, you know. But when it was a month, I dropped the letter and it did the send forth and all of that. So I had good relationship with people in that second place. Like even after I had left, all of that, we still had good relationship. So maybe what I would say, and over the years, since then, nothing of such happened. Like I didn't have to break anyone's heart, regardless of who you are and everything. I make sure that if we are parting, we part to become friends again. Because my biggest promoters of what I am doing today, they are people I served long ago. There are people I served long ago, right? And maybe I would have said, maybe I would have built better relationship at that nursery primary school. Maybe that would be my regret so far, right? I think I answered the question.
All right, thank you,
Yes,
ma.
yes, you did, ma. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma. Mrs. Shikemi, I don't know if it is Mrs. or Miss. You were raising your hand earlier.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good evening, ma.
Sorry, good evening. Thank you so much. I just want to use the opportunity to say thank you for the training. Like, I really enjoyed the training. I was just feeling bad for not joining all this while. I have learned a lot, and actually it opened my eyes to a lot of things that has been in my mind that I don't even know how to. I was just still in the midst of trying to make decision around consultancy business. So with our story, I learned a lot, and it gives me courage even to do some things that I started doing to do them better. I started learning resources business, and also on my social media handles, I started taking trainings for free just to dish out some of the things that I've learned, and then planning to cross to education fully. I had my HND in statistics for to cross into education now. So it was just today that I was making inquiry from someone on the best way to cross into education, talking about PGD before my master's and all that. So sharing our story has really motivated me and gave me a level of courage even to do what I am doing better. So I really appreciate her. Thank you, coach. I'm so grateful. And I don't know, I want to also use this opportunity to ask, maybe you have a platform that you do trainings and for people in this industry. I don't know if you ever have any platform like that. So if you have, can you please share? Can we be part of it? And what are the things needed? Hello.
All right. Thank you, Ma.
All right. Thank you, ma.
All right. No. Okay.
Okay, thank you for your feedback, Mr. Shikemi. All right, thank you. Mr. Abletif Adedeji and our moderator here, they will share details of other things that I do with you later on in your group, and okay, so they will connect with you. I'll connect. They are our liaison person, right? So let's give it to them to undo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Shoyode Zainab, please, do you have a question? I can see you saying hello. Me, what I want to say something actually. It's a challenge. So for me, like where I work presently, we have arms. So what I've noticed is that for mathematics, it is a primary school, now I'm primary school. For our mathematics, the curriculum is too cumbersome for the learners. Like when we are teaching fractions, we use a week to teach fractions. The following week would have moved to another topic, blah, blah, blah. Find those are getting it. But for me, I met, because we have 3 hands. So I met with my head that to me, this is not how this thing should be. I think we should find a way to break it down. Like, let's break it down. It is not necessary for us to finish the whole of everything we have in the curriculum. I think the most important thing is the mastery. But the response she gave me was that that is how other schools are doing it, and that's how it should be done. Okay, I can't take decision on my own because, just like I said earlier, for the class I'm taking, we have 3 hands. So, and if you are setting question, the questions has to be the same questions. It has to be the same question for the classes. Okay, now I in my own little way, what I do most times is for numeracy, especially, that's what we call it. I start earlier. Like if you're having a topic next week, I'll make sure I introduce the topic this week. Like I would have introduced it to my learners like 2 times or 3 times this week before the following week that we are having the topic proper. But even at that, I'm still not getting, I'm feeling that way because it is what I actually major. So I'm still not getting what I want. That no, I still have that feeling within me that this thing is not right. But I feel there is nothing. I don't know what else to do, because I've talked, I've said, okay, let's do this, let's do that. But no, she's not having that with me. My other partner said she has also mentioned something like that when she joined earlier, that she wasn't having it as well. Well, just like what she said, that we should not complain. I used to complain. Honestly, I used to complain within me. I'll be angry. Me now to teach the subject, the topic will be angry that like, how are we doing this thing like this? Oh, it is. But now I think I learned not to complain. That's why I'm saying this is a challenge. I don't know. Is there any advice you can give me that I can, that I that you think, what you think I can do in a situation like that? I don't know if you understand what I said, ma. That's the challenge I'm having, actually,
Okay.
honestly. And it's
Okay.
giving me what I just narrated is giving me, sometimes it gives me headache. Honestly,
Mm.
but
Okay. So thank you for sharing your challenge with us. So there are two things. There are two things. Number one is that there are some changes that will happen immediately we wanted it to happen. And there are some changes that would take time for them to happen. Right? As a consultant, part of the things we do is we do advice, we provide advice to people, this thing you're doing, you could do it better this way, you could drop this, you need to drop it. In fact, this one you should drop it right away. This one you could drop it by next week. This one you should do this. But even at that, we allow room for the client to understand the need to drop those things, right? When people don't understand why they need to do what, it becomes difficult for them to do it. So in guiding people to, making to change, in guiding people to change, it is first to let them see why they need to change and the benefits, what they will attract by making that change happen, right? So if this curriculum in the school is saying A, and as a person who wanted more than that A, you look at the loopholes, you look at the gaps. What I do for my people, for the place where I worked, was that if I want to make any suggestions, I write them. I would have thought about them, and I'm very good with words. There's a way I would write to you, and you would just, so I'll write them, note them in a paper, and then, when they are calm, when they are, everybody has their, not, I would like everybody has their moments when they are calm, but some people are more like angry birds most times. But then I'll find a suitable time for us to talk about it and discuss it, and then drop the notes with them for them to go through even when I'm not there. So when they discuss with others, then I've shared this with me, that we can do it this way, we can do it that. Let me even tell you, there was a time that I did a whole plan of a whole rebranding plan for someone. you know she didn't, and this is something that this is a service that people pay for, but she didn't ask me. That was how I started some of the things I wanted to do. So there are things that it will take time for them to understand. So what I would encourage you to do is that whenever you want people to change from doing something to doing another thing, it is that do your research very well. Look at the problems this current phase is giving them, and how the new change will help them navigate it better, and you know just make them comfortable and leave them to take the decision, right? So for them, now for your own class, make sure you just find a way to tweak it. If the school insists that you must cover all the topics, you just need to focus on methodologies that can help your students understand better. And part of the sacrifices I did some remedial classes. There was a time that they brought, because the way I worked, why I said it was very painful for them was that it became a selling point for their school. People started withdrawing kids from other schools to come to the school. So they had the studies of children who come to the school, maybe they're 8 years old, they're 7 years old. They could not read perfectly well, although they were going to expensive schools. So they would have to bring them to my class. And apart from the regular classes, I'll do remedial classes. There was a particular midterm break that I did not go on midterm break. I had to come to the school and teach these particular children just for free. So their parents, they were excited. Some of them, I got the best gifts when I was a teacher. There was nothing I didn't get. The toasting machine, the Ankara, food flask, a lot of things. The parents just out of excitement give me a lot of things I got then, so I got they gave me some gifts, to compensate me, like appreciate me for that. So what I just want to bring out is that look at the best you can do within the limits set by the school while you um give the school room to navigate the new change you are proposing. That is my submission. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate that.
Question.
Mrs. Zainab, show you
Can
wanted to say
allow.
something
She,
earlier. Is she here?
Mrs.
Yes,
Shea, this is Zainab.
so hello, good evening. I mean, good evening, ma.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
ma'am.
ma'am. You're welcome, ma'am.
Sorry,
Welcome.
actually sorry for coming late because my network was bad, so it's really painful. But at least I still might with something. I just want to share little experience, and I need advice on it. Actually, I have a passion for teaching since I was in secondary school. So I met with one of my English teachers. Then he actually put me through a lot of things, and he was even the one that guided me then that if I want to go to school, I should pick Shola University of Education and the likes. So actually, after I'm done with my WAEC, I thought for like 4 years before I got admission. Due to money and the likes, you have to prepare. So in a nutshell, so after my tertiary institution, so one of the things I discovered among students that want to do JAMB and WAEC is that I discovered that majority of them, because when I started the lesson, because one of the things I observed is that when I started the lesson with them, when I was in class, I will ask this question and be like, I did not know it, though. Like, this part of your syllabus, what's happening? So then I will took them lesson on that. Then after that, I will see that at least they are getting it. So that prompted me to have my own online, I just feel like, okay. Then I want to have my own online jam class to teach some SS3 students that have challenges, that face some challenges in English topics. But when I have that class, then I faced a lot of challenges, because one of the challenges is that different people just be coming in and be like, what is this? What is that? Like, but it's like I did not actually plan for it. I just feel like, okay, I see this because the student did not know it. That I just created a group. In fact, the group I can't say that it is functioning well currently now. But I was not thinking that how can I make this group function? I'll just drop something there, because my one of the I have for that group is that I'll be treating some topics on the group for them to learn. But at some point, if I posted something, there will not be any reaction. Everything will just be done. So I'm not motivated enough. So I'll just be dropping there. So dropping something there. So currently the group is actually not functioning. So it's just there, but I always post some things there, some information, I'll post it there, but it is not functioning the way I want it to function. So I was not thinking that as in, I feel like something is wrong somewhere. I'm not getting it right. So I'm not thinking, what can I do? How can I go about it? But I've not actually see the answer to my questions. So okay, maybe you should stop there for now. So hello, ma.
Hello, yes, I got your question.
So I'm not actually see the answer to my question. I feel like something is missing somewhere. I'm not getting it right. I'm not doing it the way I ought to do it. So, so I just want you to guide me
I
on that.
understand. Okay. an outline on what you want to do. Let's say the group name is English Jam preparation, and then you have if you generate the link, you now need to communicate with people. When you are sharing the group link, you don't just share join this link to learn about English Jam preparation. Both cat and dog, and people that need it will join, and the ones that don't need it, they will join. So what you would do is make sure you set clear objectives. Maybe you could use ChatGPT to quickly help you draft it. Like, okay, this is the name of the group. This is what you have in mind that you want to achieve. That it should help you, bring out maybe 4 or 3 or 4 key objectives that you can communicate with your audience to help them understand the purpose better. So with this objective, they have a little information about what you want to do. Then create an outline of engagement. How do you want to be engaging the group? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it daily? Because one thing about group engagement is that if you want a group that you just want to wake up one day and be engaging them, if you have not built the expertise and visibility around that, the engagement will be very low. But if there is a schedule to it that every Thursday evening, every Monday morning, every Friday afternoon at so time we'll be having this, and then the topics are engaged. They look at the topic, oh, I'm interested in this. They look at what they are going to benefit from the topic, they are interested. So you need to raise their curiosity, though it is free. But don't think that because it is free that people will just engage it. In fact, people don't engage free things. They engage paid, the things they pay for, they engage it better than the ones they don't pay for. So if you're doing anything free, make sure that you arouse the curiosity of your target audience. So arouse their curiosity, make sure that, and then you can lock the group. Don't make the group about you alone. Let them do an introduction. Let's everybody, okay, so you introduce yourself. Let them also introduce themselves, their name, their class, what they're doing, what they seek to achieve through the group. And that way they'll feel like, okay, we are part of a community. So don't make it about you alone. Make sure you are building a community of people who wanted to learn, right? And then create a schedule, have a schedule, the topics you want to treat, and then choose the most convenient way to teach. Right, WhatsApp is actually not designed as a learning a learning platform, but in Nigeria we still use it. We use it because it is the most accessible platform. Like just at the tap of their finger, everyone can, use WhatsApp. So when you are doing WhatsApp, so just make sure you use a blend of methods. Like you text you use text, you use audio, you use visuals, you use videos. You can also go on YouTube and share some links. So make sure you use visuals, you use text, you use audio, just the way we say in classroom that there are kinesthetic learners, there are audio visual learners, there are audio learners, there are visual learners. So, and there are those who learn through all of that. So make sure you use a blend of method and make it engaging. Ask questions. Let them, on WhatsApp there is a poll. Okay, let them do. You can raise a poll on when you could have shared what they are going to learn. They will have introduced themselves. You've shared what they want to teach them on the platform, and then you create a poll that when is the most
Okay, I think she's having a network glitch. I'm sure she will join us very soon. So please just hold on.
Okay, ma, while we are still waiting, I just want to add this to the.
okay, sorry.
I know, ma. Okay.
Internet has dealing with us badly, like since yesterday or thereabout. I was even thankful it took us this long. Hello.
Can hear you, ma'am. Hello.
Hello. Hello, ma. Hello.
This is
Can
Shikemi.
anyone hear?
Hello.
Okay,
Already
ma.
is dealing with us badly. So let me just wrap up with that, is that make sure you build a community, not just so I want to teach you now. I'm sharing learning now. You should be, and then don't be discouraged when they are not responding. Keep sharing the group link, keep adding more people every time, and then I'm sure there is no how you get people who would love what you do, who support what you do. And then you can also look at bringing people who are like-minded into the group so that it won't be burdensome for you alone as the admin, So have people, and I believe it will get better. Thank
Sorry, ma. Hello, ma.
Thank you, ma.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, I'm sorry, ma. Please, the challenges I'm facing about that group is that when I send the link to one of my friends, then he sent it to his he sent it on his status and people joined. He now complained to me that did I know that some people who joined that group, they are lecturers, they are this. I'm like, doctor, that's not my aim now. You can see the graphics, you can see what is there. What did I want to say to all
No,
this one?
no,
That's what
no, no,
thing
no,
that
no, no, no,
encouraged me
no,
from
no,
that
no, no,
group.
no, no, no.
Okay.
No, no. Don't be discouraged. What you should do is you should invest in learning and growing better, right? Keep learning yourself. Go on LinkedIn, go on some helpful groups online. Go just even the particular niche, there's sorry, I omitted something while I was talking. Make sure you carve a niche for yourself in this industry. You cannot be everywhere and everywhere, right? So if your focus is on senior secondary students for English, go online, go and check what are students in the UK, because we share more similarities with the UK than US. What are they learning for their IGCSE? What is missing in our own curriculum? Invest yourself in deep learning so that even if there is professor on your platform, let me tell you, if you should be able to add something that they don't know, and they will respect you. They have children and they want to see your quality. That if you can deliver well, they may consider hiring you for a paid online tutoring, or maybe a physical tutorial session with their children to prepare them for some exams. That's even beyond JAMB. There is A level, there is IECSE, there is IELTS, there is TOEFL. There are lots of exams around English, that parents every day they are looking out for experts around those areas, right? So go and invest yourself in learning and keep sharing as you learn. Don't think you will not know everything in one day. It's not possible to even know everything. And if you don't share what you know right more, that's one thing about this career. So carve the niche and invest yourself into research and keep sharing. You'll get it right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Shikemi, you was saying something the other time. Can we hear it, please?
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma. I wanted to add to the person that asked question about mathematics class, talking about the curriculum and different arms in that particular school. I just wanted to, because I have that experience as well. That's my field as well. I teach mathematics, and being in primary school, you actually desire that you can impact those children. So when you have challenge, I have the same challenges, and I was taking primary 5, that's exam class. So what I did that worked for me, because with the results, I knew it worked, is that all other subjects, mathematics does not have enough time, though each topic is for a week. So what I do is that I know I don't have to spend so much time on, I know my priorities. I know the subjects that are very, very important. So what I do is that I try to manage time for all other subjects that I can easily do with videos and all that, just to ensure that they get it, but I don't spend too much time on them. So I give enough time for mathematics than what is on the timetable. So far, I'm not lazy, not that any supervisor or head of school will be around and find me sleeping or so. So far, you are working and you can defend yourself. I think it will, and it will make your children perform better. That will now call the attention of the management to see the method you are using that others are not using. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. In such a way that whether they are the one that sets questions, so far your children are groomed better, the results will show that there's something you are doing extra that they are. And also I use my lesson period, I maximize it. So constant drilling helps those children. So you can even do a topic for a week and yet you achieve great results. So I think that will also help with a lot of assignments. You just have to adapt to that for my class, you understand? I know there are parents that complain about too much assignments, but I don't give assignment to parents, I give it to the children. So whatever I'm giving to them, even if they score 0, I don't mind, because I want to assess their knowledge. So I don't have to push too hard that they have to score everything. I don't even want them to score everything, because that's where I draw my evaluation from. So I just need them to attempt. Not attempting is the offense. But when you attempt and you score 0, you are still telling me that there's work to do. So I think that will also help you. Thank you, ma.
All right. Thank you, ma'am, for your contribution. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Wow. We've okay. Do we have any other questions? I guess no. Okay. So am I sure? Mr. Abdulatif? Okay. We are so glad to have you, Mrs. Zainab. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Thank you so much for answering our questions. We really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. I pray that Almighty Allah will continue to enrich you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you, ma. And I hope, okay. Welcome, coach.
No, I just want to appreciate. Thank you so much again. Once again, thank you so much. This really means a lot. So this is supposed to be an hour session, but it's almost 2 hours already. We don't take this for granted. We really appreciate this.
Really
The replay is going to be available for everybody that joined late. I will send the link to the replay to you, Mike. If you have people that you like to share it with. Really appreciate this. Thank you so very much. We don't take it for granted. Thank
Oh, we
you and
don't.
thank you and thank you.
Thank you, ma. All right. Thank you so Thank you so much, ma. We hope to learn from you again. Really appreciate you. Thank you for honoring our invitation.